those two for me, please. All right. Morning. We are live on the internet. I'm Randy Brigham, presiding Commissioner Barry Stratman, Commissioner Gary Hicks, Dr. Pam Grow. We're joined by Road and Bridge Department, Walter and Michelle. We're going to open bids at 9 o'clock, correct? For contract hauling. What do we get, Gary? Just one?
This would be from Daniels Construction Company Incorporated. Contract hauling bid is $85 an hour. I would. Is that what we bid by? $85 an hour. That's truck driver, fuel, insurance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Okay.
No other bids. I would say that we need to give this to Walter and Michelle and let them look at it. Pretty easy recommendation.
When you got one, it's not hard to choose, is it? If you want to reject and rebid, do you have any interest of other folks that have talked to you about it at all?
Just contact about it.
I did stay for them so that they would stay, so you know which ones are which.
Thank you.
How often do you use this contract hauling, Walter?
Normally it's just during, bad floods.
We didn't use them all last year. Last year we had 3. What was that one from? Some oddball company. We had 3 last year,
And we awarded
all 3.
to all three so that we could,
Same price.
that way we could utilize whoever was closest and had the available trucks during any sort of emergency. However, we have used them when we've laid asphalt. Generally not chip and seal, but for laying asphalt.
This company took the time to respond to the bid request.
Do you recommend awarding?
So might as well. I'll make that motion.
Second.
You're in business. All right, you get my call about 8050. Was it plugged back up?
Yeah, stone force back in it.
I was afraid of that because it was floating. You guys be proud of me. I went out Sunday with my chainsaw and my chain and drug a stump off the little water crossing so people can get through. I didn't want to bother you guys. Such a nice day.
We had some fun then out there socially distancing.
Yeah, I got my new Skechers wet, but other than that, it went pretty well. They may never be the same. I don't know.
That long excavator up and after you pull it out, the dump truck throws rock up out of tire and broke the window out of the excavator.
It's always something, Walter. It's always something. What else going on? Anything?
Pretty ditches,
Any ditches?
and gravel roads right now.
I drove, since I was already that far out, I went in and circled out through the backcountry, and a lot of them looked great. Walter, I saw an awful lot of good looking roads.
I was way down 68. The gravel roads down in there over the weekend, man.
Yeah, it looked pretty darn good. If we can keep that up and keep from getting another flood, we'll be ready for summer, huh?
We started running the roads that we got on the list to chip, and
We'll probably end up changing.
Well, that's a pretty comprehensive list.
We did. Big bridge road. They start becoming hard.
Yeah, it needs to be sealed.
I'd say we're gonna double chip and hold it together.
Well, I don't know.
Patches are blowing up.
Yeah, I drove it sometime yesterday.
They've hand patched it twice now.
Yeah, so I saw a couple of spots where their patches were coming up. Most of it is got water standing in the road ditch or drove after the rain. And I don't know, there's places where it's just gonna be hard to get the water away from that surface.
they just went through and cleaned a bunch of ditches there.
Last fall.
That's fall.
Mainly from BV, Sharp Curve, down to by Small. There's nowhere for it to go.
There's nowhere for the water to go, Walter. I don't know what we'll ever do about it. And you can't even hardly put a pipe in it and get rid of it. It's just almost a pond when it rains. I don't know.
We'd added quite a few to that road, still down there. She had one of her driveway, we could ditch it. It was down there, and we tried to get the tail out and go out through the timber. There's so much leaves through there.
Yeah. They're always, every year they plug up. Well, we'll leave it to you guys to figure out, but yeah, you're right. If we don't get something done on it pretty quick, it's gonna come unravel again. We don't want that.
Starting to now.
All right.
Telling Larry about chipping from Country Club to the intersection of Clear Run.
On Quail Run, we just chipped from Country Club to the intersection.
I think that'd save us some money. I'd be curious what the daily traffic flow is there, but not
That
sure.
traffic count, we did a traffic count on it.
On where'd you have the counter?
Well, we had it right there at the, before the intersection, and we moved towards the Country Club.
Okay.
What was the difference?
I don't remember.
If you think of it, pull it up and send it over.
Yeah, I'd be kind of
A
curious.
lot
to know
of
what
it is from BB, Old St. James Road. Going straight up to by the water tower. It was-
Right.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that part of it is, it got heavy traffic flow, especially since Tom built the little subdivision back in there. But the other part of it, I don't know that that's worthy of the traffic flow. I don't know. I mean, money's always the issue, so it may be some places better spent it.
I had emailed Dr. Deegan new prices on paving Forest Lakes.
Okay.
He said he's only got about 60% support.
Yeah.
So,
They've tried that 3 times in my 16 years here, and it's always turned out the same.
I think we've got that on the chip. Maybe that with a smaller.
Small rock, that makes sense too.
We're gonna get the spot ready for a lot to have some of that hauled in. Stockpile of it.
Whatever we did out on Republican Road sure worked. That's held together all the way through. Was it last year we put that, 2 years ago? Man, that
But
thing.
1080,
1080.
we gotta go down and fix that. It blowed up. I don't know why. There's nobody built anything new.
Okay. Well, it should be an exciting summer. You got some nice equipment to use. Chipper and your distributor. You got to take good rock. You've got a pretty good inventory of that hard rock. That's more information.
Yeah, you're gonna have it like that. Come out, that'd be gone.
Mhm.
We don't want to run out.
We'll have
Usually
them-
once we get fired up doing that 5 mile a day, we knock out.
Huh? 5 miles a day? Suffering. 2 lanes, 5 miles a day?
Certain benefit to you to do 22-foot wide.
On pass.
That's the kid. Boy, that's great.
I know that we have talked a bit about tree trimming, tree removal on right of ways. Do you think that it would benefit us to go ahead and try to ask for submission?
We need to talk about that. We got a company out trimming for asphalt.
for
I
him.
got into it. They literally made a mess.
Of our ditches,
Mhm.
we're at.
7140,
7160, Faulkner.
it's terrible. I said, he goes, we're done. I said, no, you're not. He said, well, what are we gonna do with the stuff? I said, well, we're not going around cleaning your mess up.
So they left,
They
Trees
cut
on top.
trees down and just run a brush hog over them, left it, slung it out the road, it's just everywhere.
Is this a new contract? This is recently?
Yeah, this was just last week.
They had a different one and fired that one, and I guess they hired these guys now.
I can't recall his name right now,
Tony
No,
from Inter County.
from Enter County.
that's somebody. I've got his name written down.
Yeah, give them a call, it's bad.
If you can't get any satisfaction out of it, let me have it done.
It's terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've gone through that down on Mill Creek Road. When they cut that side down, the trees all came down in our ditch across.
This is terrible. You gotta drive that. It's terrible.
What are the road numbers again, Walter? What roads?
7160. Up there in Faulkner, up there behind DFW.
Yeah, that's the first.
7160.
7160, 170, 7230. I can't believe Craig Bridge didn't know we fit. They butchered these trees. Just left they're all out in the road.
Where does he live at? Where else he live?
That's 71. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised at that too.
We had the same problem down on Suarez Road with the previous contractor. They just cut them and left them in the ditch.
Out there, Paul Fury.
They cut trees down, whole trees, and just run brush all over.
They did that on the farm too, Walter. It's ugly. They had a shredder, but some of that stuff I guess was too big. If you need any,
That's terrible.
if you don't get any responses, Gary says let us know. We'll weigh in with you.
You got that guy. You got pretty tough.
Yes, he did.
The asp contractor.
Well, so I did too.
Yes, he did. That's the thing.
Okay.
John Deere, we gave them the new price on asphalt.
Check's supposed to be on its way.
Yeah, it only went up less than $200 for them. I mean, total. So they're gonna get us a check.
Okay. That'd be swell.
Oh, they're
I guess I'll have to get with MoDOT, because we gotta fix that interest.
Well, didn't they do some work on it? Or we do some work on it?
They did.
They did. Okay. Yeah.
Culvert pipe, I guess they didn't want our ditch water running into that. It runs down, goes across the entrance, because the pipe's 6 feet above the ditch.
Okay. Yeah. Try to better get in touch with them.
Well, Kim, is she still, or is she retired, or
I'm sorry?
Kim?
No, Kim Tipton? She's still there.
No.
Hilburn.
Oh, down at the St. James office,
She's
permit
the
lady.
roach lady you gotta
Yeah.
talk to.
Where's I know she's still there, Walter?
Call her. Got to relay over that. Widen that out, get that ditch, move our ditch, be on their right of way, so it runs into the culvert, not across. The other day it was pouring, it's terrible.
Yeah, in wintertime, that'd be trouble. It'd be ice, and you get ice right there, and you slide out into the traffic. That would not be good. Okay. Yeah, they'll work with you, I bet. Well, that's going to be a great improvement. Boy, is that great.
It's all John Deere.
Oh, they're paying it all.
Nobody else is going.
How much is it going to cost them?
$15,000. It's $30,000 total to do the whole thing. So,
Wow. Okay. Good for them. It will be a nice improvement. It will benefit considerably as well. So. All right, guys. Anything else? Ashley, we've got pressing business with Ashley here this morning, I think.
So. I'm out.
All right. You don't want to talk virus?
No, I've had enough of the virus.
Okay.
It's the new orders.
As soon as Larry gets back, we'll jump into this, Ashley. Let's see, I made copies. Do you have a copy of the governor's stuff?
I do, yeah. I've got mine highlighted.
a mess like the one you have on readily available?
That I
Let's
don't,
give Pam a
I
copy
don't
of
know that
that.
I would say readily available. They're slowly coming.
Pass that down.
I'm sorry, Ace, I didn't know Larry was gonna be gone for me.
Oh, you're fine.
All these for the term ended in December, Pam, is that what we're doing here?
Oh, the juror.
Yes.
$383 jurors. What was it, $4,200?
Yep.
About $10. A lot of data.
How do we, how do we beat that? I don't guess we beat that.
Somebody who could do something about it doesn't seem to care very much.
That's a rather intriguing statement. There, man. Did we get our full 400 folks to sign up, Ashley?
Not quite, 327.
327. They're still testing it. No, they're done now. Larry said we were mentioning the governor's press conference.
I still haven't had a chance to watch the press conference yet.
We can pull it out.
Hopefully in a positive tone.
Yes, he was mentioned his discussion, as I understood it, was about whether or not we were doing any testing, and he mentioned that we did. We were going to do 400 in Phelps County, or did 400, I think. It's apparently inaccurately stated. There's a copy of the governor stuff. There's one for Pam.
This is just more.
Yeah, the DHSS order is the one, I think, that spells it out.
We'll also have the frequently asked questions part of it,
I don't think so.
because I've got questions in the list.
Oh, thank you.
No, we're good.
There he is. We're waiting for
I touched a vending machine.
Well, you better.
Was there anything left in it?
It's getting pretty thin in there. I talked to Stoltz out there and asked him if he had considered whether he needs glass or not. He's not sure.
Well, they've got distancing. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Although folks that come in there,
Well, I think that's where they've got this. See, I talked to them about putting another desk or a table. So you got 6 feet
Oh,
in front of that counter, so they're not face to face. I don't know if he did it or not, Gary. Of course, we haven't had the door locked, so anybody.
And what's your opinion of your office?
My opinion of my policy.
Your opinion of having glass between your people who are filling out passports and giving absentee ballots?
I'm not enthusiastic. I personally. Not enthusiastic.
pretty easy to build. Piece burn strips, sheet of plexiglass.
Yeah, it might be something that would not be necessarily permanent.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, just sit on an easel or like a
Oh, yeah,
liquid.
routed.
Actually, Megan Cobb's going to frequently ask questions in regard to this, so we'll.
And it refers to that in several spots.
One thing inside that is they're asking businesses to develop a plan. So,
And that's part of this
Thank you.
Johns Hopkins study. They have some tables in here with 3 criteria. Contact intensity, number of contacts, and modification potential. But I guess might help these businesses or other gatherings to initiate certain modifications. I'm not sure that this should always be referred to as an economic recovery plan. I know they like to do that. No, it's more than that. Oh, that's mine.
of all the
Scary
kinds of
Hicks, I can
businesses, the
help.
ones that concern me most are restaurants. And I don't see any specific guidelines in here.
And there's a little bit more in the frequently asked questions that I handed you, but still not much. There's a lot of questions that I'm hoping, I've got a couple conference calls this afternoon that I'm hoping will answer these.
Because I'm envisioning the tables ought to be 8 feet apart. I'm envisioning that the waiter ought to have a mask on.
Oh, hard to hear you. Somebody commented it's hard to hear.
Okay, Peter, let me see if I can move a little bit. Thank you.
That is the mic.
This is, so we'll talk to Ed if it helps our folks watching.
On number 6 of the orders.
Oh, now let's, y'all get on the same page here. As soon as Gary gets off the phone here, I'm sorry we get too many interruptions this morning. We're gonna start with the DHSS.
Start with this question. Start there.
When will we have results back from 400
Well,
tests yesterday?
We
We
don't
did
govern
327.
dog breeders here in the county.
There were
that is a
327,
state.
400, okay.
Prerogative, and so we'll probably need
My concern is that there wasn't a broad demographic.
to think.
I'm not really sure. I haven't had a chance to talk to see what.
Well, that is,
people presented.
you can contact the Humane Society and they give you more information.
The intent was not to
I
have
didn't
symptomatic,
really get the name of the
yeah,
breed,
a random sample, yeah.
but best bet is to
Good.
call the Humane Society.
Was there
and
any
get some
selection
information.
bias?
Well, the fact that you do it on the internet, is that a fair question?
Just-
So it would be that way.
Always something you have to think about, you know. Is there selection bias of the tool that you're testing?
Fair question.
Really.
I thought without a doubt there was. There's a certain
I have
demographic
no
that
idea.
doesn't have computers and doesn't have computer access.
Right.
And just the rapid turnaround time.
Yeah, it was only on Facebook. Was it on media and any
Yeah,
other?
I just never got a hold of it. I mean, it was out there, but again, if you didn't have access to the internet.
You couldn't sign up. Okay, all right, let's jump into this. We currently have an order in effect for the county of Phelps. So we put it to coincide with the governor's May the 3rd. Now the governor is changing his situation, and the question before us would be, do we want to coordinate with the governors or do something different? Okay, Ashley, take it away. What do you got?
Concerns and clarification that I'm gonna need. Number 2, where it talks about, the social distancing and that individuals that perform job duties that require contact with them. So you're looking at your restaurants, barber shops, tattoo parlors, those kind of things. Should take enhanced precautionary measures.
Mhm.
Enhanced precautionary measures is never defined.
Well, that's probably true. I would assume we're talking masks and gloves.
Well, there's always an assumption.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that may be something that we want to define and require. We want to highly suggest. And the frequently asked questions, part of it, that second document that I need. The guidelines, general guidelines for businesses, it says prepare to implement basic infection prevention measures informed by industry best practices, including first one being protective equipment. Again, it's not
Where did you
defined.
jump to there?
Page 2. This is my last question at the bottom.
Page 2, that one,
Frequently asked questions, okay.
or the bottom.
And prepare to implement in itself two things. Does that say you have to, or we encourage this?
Okay.
So that's kind of a question. Okay, so what are they defining as these measures of protective equipment, and are they highly suggested? Not clear anywhere. And we kind of encounter the same problem on the second page of the actual orders on 6, where it talks about restaurants. They have to provide limitations on social distancing and other precautionary public health measures. Yeah, it doesn't define.
Are we expecting that to be defined?
I know it's one of the questions that we've reached out to. A lot of departments have reached out to DHSS to say, how are you defining this? In the order, in the frequently asked questions, they also referenced the Missouri Restaurant Association, I believe. I wasn't able to find anything specific on that website either. But again, the order just came out, so I'm anticipating further guidance, hopeful for further guidance.
Okay.
But right now, I mean, we can highly encourage or we can mandate whatever you want to define that.
By we, you mean,
I mean, an order, if you want to into it, or if you want the health department just to put out these specific guidelines, restaurants should adhere by these things. A barber shop should adhere by these things.
Whose job is enforcement? And then there appears to be no teeth in this.
Yes.
So you could say that restaurants have to do that, but if restaurants don't do that, who goes in and shakes the finger at the restaurant? And if the restaurant still says no, if there's no teeth in this, then there's no repercussions for not doing it.
So I would recommend more highly encouraging it, using it as an education piece. Here's why it's best practice. Here's why it protects your business. Here's why it protects the people that are coming to your business. But as far as enforcement, I don't have a staff with manpower to police that.
Okay.
Those are questions that it's just not clearly defined that I can see the business owners are going to ask. Well, what does this mean?
Well, I would be anxious to hear what your
What they said,
discussions
yeah.
this afternoon yield, if that's gives us any guidelines at all.
Definition. What was the phrase?
Enhanced precautionary measures, precautionary public health measures.
Yeah, we were assuming it's a mask, gloves.
And that's
Worst
kind of how
case.
CDC
Yeah.
defines it as a cloth-based mask, gloves if appropriate.
How difficult it is to get masks these days?
Becoming a little easier. Actual surgical masks are becoming a little easier. Cloth masks, I mean, they're out there. People are making them.
Maybe with my granddaughter.
Oh, yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
So it's becoming much easier to
Yeah. So my question is, do we feel like there's any value if we want to take this one step further? The first thing that jumps to my mind is the barber, the hairstylist has to be wearing a mask. The waiter has to be wearing a mask. That's the first thing that jumps to my mind. Those are those
They're
kind
so
of connections that have to be closer than 6 feet. And do we want to jump into that?
That's spoken to under the
Yeah.
same phraseology.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question. Is it spoken to and assume that that's what this means? Or is it left for us to mandate that first?
Well, it's not going to be adhered to unless it's mandated. And even if it is mandated, is it complaint driven? In other words, my hairstylist wasn't using the mask, so.
Don't you think that the business owners are going to be looking out for their business and actually providing a sense of security to their patrons in order to have patrons?
You would think that would be, you would think that would be correct. But some people's social distancing is 6 feet. Some people's social distancing is turning your back on somebody. You know, if there's 4 people at a table and the next one has 4 people and they've got their back turned, you know, are we socially distancing? And you can't blame restaurant owners because they're trying to get their business back.
Well, yeah, and this has already gone into effect.
That's May the 3rd.
No.
Monday.
This is for Monday.
Here's my fallback position on this, and you guys please feel free to disagree if you want. There's still, governor has the smartest minds in the state of Missouri as far as epidemiologists working on this. His original order was intentionally vague. He didn't shut down any businesses to begin with, you know. So this is a little bit left up to cities and counties to interpret as they will, which is good because St. Louis County is not Phelps County. And our differences are very large. So I don't know if we want to step into that next area, which is try to make anything more strict. I mean, all of our evidence would be anecdotal. We don't have any access to St. Louis University's epidemiologists to tell us that it needs to be more strict. We don't know. It's just a gut feeling.
Some questions we're fielding already are like summer schools, camps, and all of that. To me, you cannot maintain that 6 feet of distance, and that is the number thing. Every person and businesses have to be able to maintain social distancing requirements of 6 feet. You can't do that in dugouts. You can't do that when you're the catcher or the batter. I mean, you can't maintain it. So right now, we're just kind of telling them, hold off until why the social distancing is still in place. I want to play softball too, but I mean, we can't right now. We can't. And the only thing reading through this that I see that he specifically said must stay closed are playgrounds.
Or what?
Playgrounds. And that is going to be in the ask questions.
Interesting.
There are questions again in restaurants like salad bars and buffets. How do they handle those? It references back to the Missouri Restaurant Association.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like. We advise areas of high touch and high traffic such as playgrounds remain closed.
Okay. Thoughts, Gary?
The governor's order ends on May 31st.
Correct.
This particular order.
Which is Friday.
No, May.
He's talking about the new one.
The new order starts.
Oh, the
on
new-
May
oh.
31st.
I cannot see the reasoning behind Phelps County having any kind of order. I don't get it. I do.
Yeah,
not
and
understand
that's
that.
with the governor's new guidance, which we have no alternative, and we're obligated to comply with his. Do we need an additional order? And I suspect not.
I would like to see ours expire.
We still have an emergency
That still stays in effect.
I would recommend you keep the state of emergency declared just for funding. But if you just want to amend it, that it's just the state of emergency and we're going to abide by the governor's orders that extend through whatever.
I suspect, as to your point, Larry, he's got the best minds in the state hammering this out. It'd be hard for us to improve on it, I think, particularly since we're blessed with a relatively low incidence as opposed to St. Louis or St. Louis County.
And the
So
very fact that our hospital is equipped to handle 247, just called 250 COVID patients. And we have how many confirmed in the county?
To confirm what level.
And that is in the entire county. And they are residents of Phelps County.
Where are
And one is
they?
recovered, so we have one active hospital case. One active hospital case.
The two that were determined over the weekend, how far in their quarantine process are they?
Oh, they're
Just started. Oh, okay.
Okay, I know Ashley's got lots to do, but I suspect I feel a consensus here.
There's just a few clarifying questions on my end.
You're gonna have more than a few, I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, out of just this wording
Okay.
that I have received,
Yeah.
and yeah, many more will come
Oh,
out.
I'm sure you will, but the point is you can't split every hair on this. It's gonna, some of the burden is on the individual.
It is.
I think so.
I think that we have responsible business owners that will want their business to succeed, and they can't do that if the first thing that happens is there's a COVID case coming out of XYZ restaurant.
Exactly.
It is, in my mind, it's no difference than hepatitis and what happens to a restaurant.
Oh, it would have to be, yeah, if we would have a confirmed one out of there.
Exactly. So
Okay.
I think we're solid footing this.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm anxious to get this resolved is because if you don't just open a restaurant this afternoon, you've got to notify staff and make orders and all that, and plans about how you're going to move your tables and how you're going to get the mask and the gloves.
and
all
I'm
that.
sure the restaurants in particular will go to the restaurant association and they will have a hurry up offense in order to attack.
We would hope.
But nothing can be, I mean, they cannot open this weekend, they have to wait. So just because we are saying that they can do this, they are still bound by
Well,
current order in place.
and keep this in mind that unless the city of Raleigh changes their ordinance, the restaurants stay closed till the 11th
In the city of Raleigh.
in the city of Raleigh.
All right. In the interest of progress, I'm going to encourage that we go ahead and take a vote on allowing our order to expire and offer full compliance with the governor's orders or cooperation. We're not needing anything. The governor's already done that. So that people can know outside of the city of Raleigh, you can comply with this effective that date. Is that cool?
On
Midnight, May the 3rd. So when it expires, ever does, yeah, I believe it's it.
well, see, I don't have the most recent copy of our commission,
Oh.
which has the dates as we discussed.
Yeah, ours expires at the same time. We did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Remember? We renewed it for a week or something. You
Well,
were
we
there.
renewed it for a week, but that would have been this coming Thursday.
Yeah, last week we determined we review again this Thursday.
Exactly.
But the effective date was
Yeah.
But
midnight.
since it's already on your agenda, we should make a review version.
Well, I would want to give all of our folks out in the county kind of the heads up that we are going to rescind this.
Sooner would be better than later.
I just, like, we're rescinding that because it's redundant,
Well, no, I don't think we're rescinding it, Larry. We're just not renewing it.
not renewing it.
It's when it
But still,
expires.
I'd like for the people out there to know we're not renewing because it's redundant with the governor's order. There's really no point in us having one when we're following the governor's. We've stated before that we're going to follow the governor's lead on this. So
Especially in the climate we see here in Phelps
The
County.
state of emergency portion.
yes, I think we have to, don't you?
What are the ramifications of that beyond the government?
Is if you do not declare state of emergency, I'm not sure how that would work.
That was the motivating
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with, I feel like we're in a state of emergency. We are complying with these.
I believe the governor has extended the state economic state of emergency through June 15th.
In our order, it wasn't a stay-at-home order. So we only as far as the governor. He had a
Governor's a
stay-at-home
stay-at-home.
order. Okay, and that's,
Expiring.
okay, so you think. Okay, well, I want to know how that affects the people of Phelps County and outside of the city. If you wanted to go sit at a rock somewhere and have lunch with 3 or 4 of your buddies, you could do that. Come Monday. The stay-at-home order will go away.
If it's a big enough rock, you could do it today.
They still have to buy those.
Yeah,
Still
social
have to
distance.
buy
Yeah.
muscle.
We have a consensus. I'm not sure that we need to take any action, quite frankly, other than declare that we are not going to further restrict the governor's orders, because we just let the other one expire.
We can't let it expire today. Can we not rescind it today?
No, because that's your state of emergency. You'll have to amend it somehow.
Wait a minute, it's two
No.
separate things.
Yeah.
Do you have yours in 2 separate things though?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't-
So that-
the commission order
For some reason, I was thinking it was under the same.
is declaring a state of emergency. And it may be the same.
I think it's the same.
Well,
Let
then
me
we
get
need
a
to pull it apart, don't we?
This that I was gonna have you sign today.
We get this cleared out.
And another question I keep getting is line items. I have been asked a few times, that just because these governor's orders say they can open, does that mean they have to? Absolutely not. A business owner can still do it. There's nothing forcing you to open.
We're really hoping that most businesses can reopen.
Yes, yes,
That's the thing.
yes. But it is still on the business owner. They feel that they're where they desire to open, they do not have to.
No, no.
They can. Well,
So
come
we'll have to write this and take out the provisions that,
Or we have,
that in any means refer to groups.
Actually, for the people that are listening in, could you explain briefly the effectiveness of the surgical mask, which is what the kind of mask most people are going to be able to lay their hands on? N95 is still going to be good.
A surgical mask is more to protect you from me than me. It's gonna help hold in any germs or coughing that I may expel from coming through to you. It's not gonna do me much good if you do not have a mask on and cough at me. Because the particles are small enough to get. So this is more, my mask is protecting you from me.
Okay. So that's why surgeons wear that.
Yes.
Okay.
And N95 would more protect me. Whereas the cloth mask and the face mask are the opposite.
Okay.
But still, your restaurant worker, your barber shop, thing like that, that is still gonna give protection to the clients. I mean, you can't expect everyone that goes into a restaurant to adhere to a face mask, they're eating.
Right.
I mean, you can't do that, but your workers can wear a mask.
Right, your hostess and
Right.
your waiter and maybe hopefully
Anybody.
your cooks.
It looks to me like reading this commission order is the first whereas may well be the only whereas that we need to have in there.
You might want to extend it to where, to add to on top of that, like the governor extended, keep the governor's initial one, keep where the governor extended the state of emergency to such and such. And this further orders that the Phelps County Commission has extended the county state of emergency to such and such.
Okay, so we can basically from second down, it's omit and add whereas that the governor has.
You're on the right track. In fact, Pam's writing that down. I'd entertain a motion to, this thing says we can alter them and or whatever. I suggest we pass this thing and make it effective midnight, May 3rd. So let's write a new commission order that is a state of emergency. It says we're
Only.
complying with state of emergency only, and we will comply with the governor's directives, and this should be effective May 3rd at midnight. That work?
So essentially, we're extending, continuing the state of emergency order.
Yeah, that's a good word. Continuing it, but intend to comply with the governor's directives. Or you like that?
I like
That's your motion?
Yes, sir.
Is that your second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Pam, it's all up to you. You get to put it in a nice, neat form, and we'll sign it.
Wordsmith.
Hold on just 1 minute, so.
What do you think 1 minute will be enough?
Okay, so we're gonna leave the first whereas clause. We're gonna remove all the other whereas clauses,
Yeah.
Yep.
okay?
Add a second one, and whereas the governor's propagated, the Governor of Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, whatever their acronym is. Compliance. What is it, Peter?
So there's a question.
Okay,
What are courthouse employees going to do?
fair question. We'll have that conversation pretty quickly. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
I would go back and find the original date, to add kind of toward the bottom as to what date originally put governor, put the state of emergency in place, and then whereas then it is extended to such and such, just for historical. That makes sense. I apologize, I should know those dates off the top of my head. Done?
Ashley and I were at a teleconference on Friday afternoon for an hour and a half with the city of Rollin with Ed Clayton. And that flew by.
Oh, okay.
That hour and a half just flew by. There was so much information being passed back and forth between the hospital and the health department. And allowed the city of Rollin and me to ask just about every question we think about asking.
And is the city of Raleigh going to alter their order?
I don't know that. I don't have a feel for that. They're wrestling with it, and I can understand why. But Ashley provided statistics, and Ed's provided some guidance with his people, and I thought it was very good.
Did that time cool? I
Yeah.
had no idea what I'm.
We started at 3 o'clock, and I told my granddaughter I'd take her up at 4. I finally got there at 6.
But you were in a lot of trouble.
And I wasn't very happy, but she wanted to go to the academy.
All right, Pam, are we giving you enough confusing guidance to pose something?
The original order.
Is that it? I mean, that's a fair question. What, are we having any idea what the Supreme Court's gonna do with courts? This is opening back up state offices.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to know what the court's. Yeah.
I called Julie and she was not aware of any changes at this point. They have a circuit court order in effect till May the 15th,
Yes.
or a Supreme Court order till May the 15th. So at this point, their assumption is that will remain in effect until May the 15th. Did we work out, excuse me.
That's courthouse wide. Everything that's posted on the doors of these buildings will remain closed, all those guidelines they have.
Well, we haven't had
We're
that
talking about-
conversation yet. We'll
And we closed the courts
It
upstairs,
will close courts, okay.
but it wouldn't close the courthouse.
Okay.
Not necessarily. We'll
Right.
see. And I think we maybe would seek the opinions too of our office holders as far as opening the courthouse back up and see what their needs are.
I know we discussed on the conference call, the health department will not be opening yet. We need to see what happens here with my staff. I just don't have right now the manpower. And the things that we've implemented, the curbside, are working well.
I think most of the offices on this floor, I mean, Pam may disagree with me, but yeah, I think they're functioning pretty well. The only person I haven't talked to recently is the
prosecutor and to see how things are functioning in his office. I mean, crime didn't stop. I think it slowed down a little bit, but I don't think it stopped.
I suspect the only reason it slowed down would be that there was less calls because people just didn't want, if somebody broke into my house and took something, I probably just, that's probably, right.
There you go.
Yeah. Take it and go.
Okay.
You know, there's probably some of that.
Okay. All right. Ashley, have you had complaints about businesses that are open under our current order that shouldn't be?
We've had a lot of complaints about businesses that are open that the individuals feel should not, but. And we've had a few complaints that we've had to call and just clarify. I just kind of talk with them, but nothing that has required any change, other than just a phone call, reassuring the public that we have precautions in place. They are taking the appropriate measures, and they are allowed to be open. Was a lot of confusion, especially with the city and the county. Why is one within the city that's very similar to the county? Why is it they're operating and they're not? The hostility there.
Okay.
They can't. And we've done a few spot drive-bys just ones that we really want to see what's happening.
Been fine. Okay. Good. All right.
I mean, a little higher occupancy than I have desired, but still within the
All righty. What else do we need to talk about? Oh, Ashley's got lots to do.
I don't know what she.
The date of the order. Of the government order. Well, I mean, but one thing I want to reassure the people is that we will be nimble enough. Well, all of a sudden we see an uptick, and not just a little uptick, but if all of a sudden we get a nest here where you've got 50 positives, you know, in a week, we are nimble enough to be able to react to that.
And I think our communication between the county and the city and the health department and the hospital is strong enough that we're gonna know. The second any of us feel that something's happening, we're gonna know.
That's why the conversation Friday was so important.
Sure, there'd be enough communication and tracking if there was a 50 case outbreak. Surely we'd know exactly where that came from. Surely, I mean,
Not necessarily.
Well, but it's the tracing too.
Yes,
Then
yeah.
there's 50 people. Well, I went to Walmart. Well, I went to Big Lots, and I went here, and all of a sudden, oh my God, 50
yeah.
people have been traced.
Oh, one of them wasn't Price Chopper, yes. That was in here.
Wasn't even our case, but.
That's hard to track.
Those two
And that's
cases
if they
over.
remember. You know, we've had a few instances where, oh yes, on this date, I was here and here and here, and 2 or 3 days later, oh, that wasn't right. My bank statement says I was actually here on this date, and I was actually here, and I forgot I went here. Oh, okay.
The governor talked pretty extensively, as did Dr. Williams yesterday, press conference about tracers and how small health departments just don't have the manpower to do the tracing. And so he was going to assist in that somehow. I don't think he revealed exactly how he's going to assist in that, but
I'm hoping it comes soon.
yeah.
Because that is one thing that we fight constantly as a small health department, is everything we do is still paper tracking. Technology would, free up so much time, staff time. It would just streamline things down there, but it's money that I just don't have. So when we're doing these contact tracing bubbles, it's all on paper, it's all hand, it's all trying to connect, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
So they've mentioned, I said they, as in DHSS has mentioned software capabilities that we could use for yet. We don't know what it looks like. And we're we are right now. Much more. We'll make it work. We have volunteers that have offered to help. I have other staff that I can pull in to do it. So we'll make it work. It's challenging.
All right.
What would happen if 25 positives out of this?
What would happen?
What would change?
Fair question.
You know, that's a discussion I've had over and over with the two cities that I represent. And how does it change? If they're not hospitalized.
And it's
How
not
does it
unique
change?
to us. The state of Missouri will have to wrestle with the same
Yeah.
thing.
Well, you'd want them to be quarantined.
You would want them to be quarantined, but
And
you're
could
not
you-
overrunning your health system, which is the reason we had to flatten her, right? And certainly we've not been overrunning in Phelps County.
There's actually new technology, a small wristband with a fingertip sensor of sorts that actually uploads the information of your vitals it's like real time to your smartphone and puts it to the cloud where someone, if they had the technological equipment, could monitor. They say that they can have just a dashboard with every one of your patients, a doctor with all his patients in real-time monitoring of their condition.
Wow, that's some high tech.
So,
That's some high tech.
and that has all come about pretty quickly. I think that this country reacted rather well to this situation, and hopefully not overreact.
So back to Pam's original question, I don't know what would happen.
Right, there's stories out there about COVID being put on the death certificate when it's presumed. So we've got this inflated fatality rates potentially, and also because we've got 6 weeks of data that's piled on where we just tested with ICU patients. And of course, the ICU people, they have a high rate of fatality because they're the sicker people. So, kind of behind the curve on the morbidity and mortality data when we're broadening all this testing. And so I'm wondering, I'm here to speak up for liberty,
Well,
Do I anticipate it will change anything in the order, anything? Because we're not overrunning healthcare system. It'll put more work on the department to contact traces. But I'm hopeful that it will give me a sense of, are these symptomatic patients that just weren't seeking testing, didn't realize what it was, had access to it, are these asymptomatic people that we just happen to get? Or the signs and symptoms, they're changing. They were fever, cough, and shortness of breath, and now we're seeing a lot of it as mild congestion. I lost my sense of taste and smell. Body aches. I didn't think it was COVID. It's not the cough, fever, shortness of breath. I never had a cough. I never had a fever. So right now, I'm more hoping it just gives some kind of data. Do I anticipate that it's going to change anything, and I need to come up and say, "Oh, I now have 30 cases, and we have to lock everything down"? Absolutely not. We're not overrunning our healthcare system.
well, and I'm hoping what they're fishing for is the fact that I'm not symptomatic, but I'm carrying.
Yes.
That's really the
Yes.
frightening part, isn't it? Because you don't know to stay
You
home if you're not symptomatic.
All right. You got everything you need, Pam, to make
I
this
know
a
it
work?
doesn't answer a question at
I
all.
don't know
Because
if there is
honestly,
an
I don't
answer.
know the answer.
Okay, so.
And I don't know what DHS is what they're,
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're still collecting data, right?
Okay.
One thing that came out of the meeting on Friday was most disquieting is that hospital lost $3 million in March and they're anticipating it to be down by $1 million. So unfortunately, they have had fiscally responsible boards for the last forever years.
Decades.
Yeah.
And they believe that they can withstand that. Because I think part of this governor's order, they're going to open back up electric procedures. I asked Ed yesterday.
I believe that it opens everything.
The governor mentioned it specifically.
Yeah. And I was on another teleconference with them yesterday. And they haven't set a time yet to open back up for elective procedure. That's gonna be part of their.
Where they're headed now. Okay.
Because you're hearing healthcare systems get across the state are furloughing employees, and it's the elected.
Right.
If you can't do
Sure.
elective surgeries, you don't need to
Yeah.
staff.
SSM with 13 furlough. A whole bunch, 13,000. I want to say maybe it was 1,300. Sure.
It was a large
1,300.
portion.
Yes, 13. But for that very reason, sure. And we can't go on like that.
No.
We can't. You want to disrupt your medical.
Well,
Healthcare
there may be some federal money available.
The question, or the thing being made.
I heard the printing press broke down yesterday.
Uh-oh. That's trouble.
Well, they may have run out of ink. We may start seeing monopoly money.
All right.
It already is.
Ashley, thank you. We're
Yeah,
glad to get this some direction. We will keep our emergency order in, and then we will fall to the governor's State Department of Health's criteria for hereafter.
City, no.
Okay.
That with this property.
In regards
Yeah.
to the intersection.
And, oh, you'll have to have a report on.
Yeah, that's, it's in,
There will be no action 2 weeks to hash it out of their
Hash it out.
statement. The dilemma is this thing.
Yeah, the signalized versus the roundabout.
Exactly.
Around these islands, or what they call it, safety or something in the crosswalk, so that you would have a place to perch while the 18-wheelers swung through there.
you ask, you ask a pretty pertinent question there, though. I mean, they're just gonna have to find a way to push 18-wheeler traffic out of downtown Rome. You know, they try to push them to 44 and bring them back on it, that they're at Menards, but then there's two roundabouts there, but they avoided a bunch of stoplights. By the way.
7. I counted them. After that conversation, there's 7 from 72 extension to 44. With this new one, there'll be 7 stoplights. Truckers don't like stoplights, so that in itself is a deterrent if it goes signalized. But the other thought I had, Larry, after, and I didn't want to get into it there, what place for it would be maybe in 2 weeks. But, if you're a trucker and you're northbound, you want on the interstate, coming from either 72 or 63, you're going to take that left at 72 extension.
Yeah.
Because true, there's 2 roundabouts, but if you're eastbound, it's only a quarter of 1 roundabout. You get that divergent lane and you're gone. If you're westbound, yeah, you got to do both of them to go westbound. But still, to go westbound, you're not going to avoid 2 roundabouts and endure 7 signals and then come back. You're not going to do that if you're a trucker. You're not going to go through 7
And if you're
signals.
going north 63, it's still much quicker because you avoid.
7 signals. The deterrent there, Gary, is that left turn lane at the 6344 out here. You got to come up and swing across the interstate.
Yeah,
But
and
that's not bad.
the 72-63 intersection there is a little suspect for people that are wanting to, if they're going north on 63, they want to go out to the interstate and take Ridgeview. That is very difficult to navigate that left-hand turn lane. There needs to be 2 left-hand turn lanes there going on to the Ridgeview extension, 72 extension.
Well, now I'm confused.
Going north,
On 63,
and there's only 1 left-hand turn lane now on the new.
to the 72 extension?
Yes, there's only 1 left-hand turn. So that really needs to be 2. Now, and you'll notice that the city did tear down a couple buildings there, and they are going to put a better right-hand turn lane going east onto east off Ridgeview,
Headed south.
Yeah,
They're gonna improve that.
Yeah, they got that right away.
yeah, they talked about that yesterday. Then they're gonna close, I think that plan is to close off Walker Street, don't put up Adrian.
Yeah, which will make that a lot safer for sure.
How's Kathy this morning?
I'm great. How are you all?
So far, so good.
Just wanted to give you a little report on that situation I was talking to you about last week. Andrew called and we visited a little bit, and then he made a phone call down to that facility. And shortly thereafter, and I don't know if he actually got to speak with them or not, but shortly thereafter, while I was on a conference call, I received an email from Jill that those invoices were sent out by the state to disregard them.
Much to do about nothing, huh? All right, good deal.
So
Thanks for that.
those are finished. I have not received any more, but I have forwarded that information on to our association and
Are you hearing anything other places?
no, we have been, I spoke with the ombudsman and the state ombudsman, and she has sent out stuff to all public administrators that is not acceptable, and they cannot do that.
Boom.
So we're in touch with everybody in the state about that. The only real concern is family guardians that may not be aware. So, but anyway, so that's resolved. Haven't heard anything else, and we're trying to keep in touch with everybody we can to make sure that nobody gets in a situation.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, that's great. Can I ask you a quick question before you get away?
Sure.
The governor, May 3rd, is opening up things a bit, and to include state capitol and office buildings. Do you think we're ready to open the courthouse? We're going to pull everybody out of talk to the office holders?
Well, we have been mailing our weekly checks to our individuals and asking them to mail back receipts. So, and then all my conference calls are plan meetings, and I don't know what SB 40 is going to be doing because I don't know what the state's requiring them to do, as in opening up plan meetings and that type of thing. So I think it's probably a good idea to open up. I'm just curious, what are we going to do? I've ordered shields for my office.
Good.
But are we going to try to wear masks, or what are we going to try to do within the building?
I suspect that would be up to the individual office holder. If you
Okay.
feel like your shield is adequate, I don't know that you're going to encumber your folks with a mask. Or if they are uncomfortable, they could wear a mask.
Okay.
If we're
All right. Well, we ordered the shields because when they start coming in to pick up their check, they're going to be close.
Yeah, but now you're mailing the checks now.
We are now. That is only because the courthouse was closed.
Why wouldn't we do that forever?
Because we need to lay eyes on our folks,
Why
and we
would-
need to make sure. So security requires that we make sure that they receive their check. And the way you can make sure they receive their check is that they pick it up directly.
Yeah, but the receipt doesn't fulfill that.
I've had that conversation.
Okay.
And so once we open up, we will ask them to come back in and pick their check up directly from us.
Well, if it's me, I'd come with my check.
We only have about 5 or 6 that actually live on their own, where they come in and pick up their check. Most of everybody else is in some type of facility or assisted
Would a
living
phone
or
call meet the criteria for verification if you called?
a phone call?
Yeah, they send a check out and say, did you get your check?
They sound the same if they have a black eye, so they don't.
Exactly.
Say that again?
For clients, sound the same with a black eye as if they don't have a black eye.
Is that an issue? Abuse?
You're the guardian.
Okay. Fishing for efficiency, but
And
not biting.
Not biting, huh?
Okay.
when I had this conversation at a conference with them, I said, well, we mailed them their check. And she said, but you don't know that they actually received their check. And I said, well, it's their signature on the back. She says, you really don't know that they received the money. So if they actually come in here and pick up their check, I can say picked up their check. They have it. They
I
signed
don't know
for
if
it,
I
they
buy
have
that or
it.
not. I don't know if I buy that. I mean, yeah, they have it. What if they go back wherever they came from and somebody takes it from?
I know, but you know, we all have rules. we
Okay,
have to abide
all right,
by.
all right.
I'm just trying to keep
I
everybody
know.
as happy as possible.
We, happy's good. Happy's good.
And I agree. I mean, I could go, like you said, back and somebody could say, here, give it to me, but we do the best we can, and then they bring us in receipts the next week. They bring in receipts and give us their check, so
Okay.
it's a balance. Okay,
All right.
thanks, guys.
Thanks for the update, Kat, and the good news.
We're ready to open whenever you are.
Okay.
Say
Thank you.
so. Thank you.
All right, that's one officer order. Let's ask another one. Pam, are you ready to open up the courthouse?
Yeah. Okay,
there's two. Gary, Larry, you ready?
Phelps asked me, he said, can we send out information determining what has happened in here today regarding the courthouse? But I would just assume he would come in and give us.
Whoa, what now?
So he was thinking we were gonna have this large discussion about opening the courthouse, which we want to, of course, we have to buy in on that too. And he wants to know if we would send it out, what became of the meeting.
Oh, I see.
What
Okay, sure.
The judge's authority is in the court, but the courthouse itself is,
On us.
It's the old tug though.
I understand that, but when they closed down the court, they did not close down the courthouse.
Right, I agree.
So
Randy's always walked a really good line with whoever the presiding judge was to make sure we're
That's-
all on the same page.
that
Try to keep it that
bill
way.
now.
And plus, they're gonna have the biggest impact. When they open,
Oh,
we're gonna be
yeah.
inundated here.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court is the Supreme Court, so if they say 15, it's probably 15. Come in, Rick, come in.
Here or what?
Can you blame her with my reputation?
I got a letter you need to
We
read
wanna
when
be
you
on
get.
TV. I'm sorry. Come on.
We got a letter we all need to talk about. This is from, wait a minute, I lost my train of thought on that other thing. We need to ask Rick the same question about the courthouse opening up.
What?
The governor's opening up state capitol and
Mhm.
office buildings, and.
I haven't seen that's what's part of that.
Yeah, it's here somewhere.
Okay.
But, and we're debating when and how is the right time to unlock the front door, essentially.
Okay, well, there's, I've heard mixed emotions. Some say it's a 15, some say it's the 4, and I'm not sure when is he planning on, is he looking at the 15th?
No, is the 4th.
Yeah, 12:01 a.m., Monday, May 4th. State office buildings shall be open to the public as soon as practical. Essential state functions shall continue. State capitol buildings shall remain open to the public during meetings or proceedings of the General Assembly.
Well, I'm sure they probably put it in their guidelines that you have to keep your social distancing.
Yes.
So you're still running into the same situation you're running into now. If you open it up, you're gonna look around. If you have 15 people in here, they're all crowded in, you're gonna tell them to leave. I mean,
Yes.
you have to make that decision.
Yeah, we will. We would have to do it in shifts, split shifts.
Well, here's another thing, office holders, the same thing. You
Yeah.
start getting people coming in there to take care of business, whatever,
Standing in line, we may have to have marquee X's on the floor like over.
That's getting, they're gonna open up a lot. I mean, I'm sure glad they're opening up tattoo parlors. I sure just go and get a couple of those.
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still getting new prisoners,
Sure.
local
But
prisoners,
only ours.
only ours.
Only ours.
And do you quarantine them before you put them into the
Yeah, they're
general
brought in there as far as the nurses look at them now before they ever get back to. Our people do the temperature on them. Nurse comes up, she checks them, and then we put them in a holding cell prior to sending them back to population. So they're held. Fortunately, knock on wood, that's been approved as a holding area. Right? So in the event that we had it, knock on wood, that never happens, but I had a place to go. Right now, with the prisons have one of the prisons have about 19 or 20 of them that got quarantined with it. So I'm not picking them up from the prisons and bringing them back on RIDS. The judges are working with me not to pick them up. That would be dangerous. We'll pick up one out of prison and bring them down.
For sure.
So we're trying to avoid that.
But as far as opening up visitors to the jail or.
We don't get visitors. The only visitors we get in the jail are attorneys, and 99% of them now want to use video conference.
But when I come in there, there's people sitting in the waiting room. What are they waiting?
Typically, it's because they have the fingerprints done by the courts, or they're there to see a detective, or
Oh, okay.
sex offenders come. Sex offenders have to come in. They have to check in. They have to register at a certain period of time. Some of those we don't have a choice. So some of those are going to come in and out. But most of them come in to visit or they come in to use the kiosk in the lobby to put money in there for an inmate.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so no matter what we do, we always have a revolving door from that building, no matter what.
So, but your bailiffs would probably be the most impacted when those doors open. Your bailiffs are.
They'll only do what you direct them to do as far as I'm not going to tell them to stop people, don't let these people, certain individuals like this. That's going to be up to your office holders.
Right, well, I think we want them to stand back.
I'm not going to have them try to corral people into, you can have this many in your office, you can have this.
Oh, no.
Here's your problem. You've already got judges talking about opening up hearings or court cases up there involving hundreds of cases. And they were talking about possibly starting that over this week or next week. So now what do you have?
I just talked to Julie, and she says the Supreme Court ruling is in effect till May the 15th.
So there is a deadline on 15th or 16th. Yeah.
So
So
they
may pull back on that because I can tell you the bailiffs had said they had seen a couple of dockets they wanted to run through, and there was like 100.
They got some catching up to do, no question. They got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
They've requested the use of the multipurpose room.
For what?
Well, I'm not sure. Pam might be able to explain that a little bit better. What you may want to put this as a holding before people go upstairs instead of that? Okay.
I
Well,
have
you
not.
still, you bring 100 people in here and their families?
Well,
No,
You bring mom and dad or?
but here's what I suggested to them when I talked to them is that, you know how it is now, everybody comes in at 9 o'clock and sit there and wait until your name's called. Well, you may have to schedule these people. You're here at 8, you're here at 8:10, you're
Yeah,
here.
but see,
You may have to
how are you
do
gonna
that.
control that judge? If they say, no, I'm not taking your case right now, you need to get this shit together, go work it out, come back to me. Let's take this case over here. Whatever they may do.
Right.
I mean, you're on the bench, you never know. I mean, God knows, I was a trooper for how many years, and I'd come over here to testify at 9 o'clock. My case was set at 9 o'clock. I didn't testify until 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So now the great thing is we got grand jury, which is a hell of a relief for law enforcement. I mean, unbelievable relief. And secondly is, right now they have people coming in here for cases, they can get online, do video conference.
Yeah.
And the judge can say, okay, and from what I got, a lot of them are complying to that. You need to make contact with us on a certain date at a certain time, and they're doing it.
Well, I think we look for guidance from the second floor here as to how they want to, if they want to change their model, the way they do business.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's,
And answer your question regarding what's happening next week, actually, it's juvenile court.
Mhm.
And they are gonna have, did you get it, you and Sue work out where she could use a multi-purpose room?
She hasn't talked to me. I think we got a reserve this week.
why would they use the multi-purpose?
Well, the way they were gonna do it, Rick, was the judge was gonna be on video, and then the two participants would individually appear via.
See, that's the system that I agreed to put $40,000 into. So that courtroom would be totally accessible to attorneys, to the judges, to everyone via video.
Yeah.
So
And that's what they're gonna use for
that's
this.
why writs, I wouldn't have to pick them up in prison. I don't have to do any of that anymore if they do that system.
Oh, that's gonna be
Yeah.
That's gonna be huge. Let me make copies of this letter and get everybody's reactions.
Okay. Pam, I'm gonna be out of town the first week of June. Is there any damn thing I gotta vote on?
Yeah. What school district are you in?
31.
School board race and debt levy.
And what?
Debt levy,
Debt levy. What is that exactly that?
an additional 28.5 cents on the $100 valuation. To raise $25 million for
For
Rolla Public.
who?
For Rolla Public.
School? Yeah, I definitely want to vote on that one.
Yeah. You can get the sample ballot if you want.
Huh?
You can vote absentee. You ready? You can get the sample ballot if you just want to think about
No, I'll vote.
You're rural though, right?
Yeah.
You're,
I mean, you talking about me personally?
yeah.
Or,
You're,
you call me a redneck. What? You hurt my feelings. I'm probably one of the only friends you have, but this is the way you treat me.
anyway, so you live outside the city.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is Rick up onto the closing of Martin Spring Drive area and how that's going to impact his neighborhood?
Oh, the bridge down.
Yeah, we're going to utilize Bridge School Road as our detour, probably for 90 days. While
That's gonna be a mess.
our crew's down there, cleaning
They've
it
done a
up.
great job painting that bridge.
And we're hopefully we'll get that chip and seal. And I'm trying to persuade the other commissioners into chip and sealing the entire length of Bridge School Road.
Crazy not to, it's only a short piece.
Crazy not to.
It's crazy not to, it's only a short piece. Why send a road grader all the way down there to do less than
Well,
an eighth of a line?
Yeah, I wanted to use that too, but they got to go to 750 anyway.
Well, they got to go to 750, but first of all, down there, it washed out. These guys down there cleaning those ditches out. Right now, you want to have a good base.
And so
Right now, it's not good, because you're putting white chat on there every year.
and that part that we would be chipping is in incredibly good shape. It does have good drainage.
The boys have taken care of that portion. We haven't had anything done on our road over there, the chip and seal road, except patch potholes through eternity.
Yeah, I know.
And that's it. And the curves down there are, when you come around that sharp curve there on that gravel, it's unbelievable how many people clip that guardrail. And I asked for a guardrail years ago, and they found a couple old guardrails.
Yeah.
That has saved more lives. Because when you come around that, especially when you meet Braidlow coming around there with a hay fork stuck out in front, driving 90 miles an hour around there, John Deere tractor.
Well, they're
As
working on.
much as I helped you guys, you need to reconsider, okay? And finish that.
Well, because it's going to be a detour route for probably 90 days.
Well, think about that. You're gonna have them coming together now. They're going back and forth, and they're gonna be passing. Now we're dealing with, people trying to leave the bars. Bars are closed, well, that's fortunate. It slowed my traffic down on Friday and Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah.
They use the back.
They always use that road.
But they won't be able to use it to double back up Martin Spring Drive because they're not going to be able to get to Newburgh.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people up there, there ain't nobody to go to Newburgh, but they just use that. People tour that thing. I have no idea why.
Well, they got that
Well, they got the
Burial ground.
conservation.
Well, and they've got the burial ground there too, the cemetery.
Yeah, you got Bray Conservation Area, and I guarantee you that you'll see 50 cars in there.
Yeah, especially now with the
And
distance.
if school was on, at the last month of school, there would be 15, 20 school buses there.
Yeah.
And I gotta take my hat off to the highway department. There was a ditch there, when they pulled out of there, the school buses were dropping their wheels off in that damn drain ditch. Well, I asked Walter, hell, it wasn't 3 days later, they had that fixed, and, because I went up there one day and the school bus pulled out, his front tire dropped off of that thing.
Ooh.
And I went up and talked to Walter, and he said, we'll take care of it. I mean, what they're doing now down there, I'm tickled to death. It's good.
It needs it.
Well, need to,
And it looks like they're doing a good job. And I don't know. It looked to me like there were some places that really could use our lay down machine to put it. And it may just be a few 100 feet long, but the lay down machine So you put a surface on it and then come back and chip it through the whole thing. I leave that up to Walter, you know.
Well, first of all, where you're talking about where it's unfinished around there, that gets so, I mean, that ground breaks down. And by them coming in there and trenching that, maybe that will stop that, to keep that water. But when you put that new bridge down there, that really made a difference. Where you blacktop all the way from the new bridge all the way up to, I mean, that's held up unbelievable.
Yeah.
But now you got traffic up the gig on that bridge. I'm constantly in the summer months.
The what?
That bridge, that little water bridge you all put in down there. Go look at all the paraphernalia and all the shit around. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I've already got complaints. I was down there just Saturday.
It's a gathering area now. Like,
it's a, it's a place for them to go down there, but
The Braco Bridge or the?
I'm brand new one on 7,000.
so from now on, when I come in, I go in that way. So when I come in there,
People scared.
when I was a trooper, I pulled around there one night, a bunch of them standing on the bridge drinking beer. Well, some of them were underage and they were pitching their beer cans into the creek there, below that old bridge. Around there, and I said, I was in uniform. I said, boys, I said, I tell you what, I'm just going to start writing tickets. He said, well, I'm 21. Well, I'm going to write you a ticket for supplying alcohol to me. He said, okay, that ain't my beer in there. Yeah. Whose beer is it? Well, here a couple of times. It's ours. I said, all right, go get it. He goes, it's in the water. Tough shit. Go get it. Well, they went down there, the water was about this deep in that whole water there. And then 17, 18-year-olds were wading around there picking up floating beer cans. I took a million. It wasn't worth the ticket. It was worth they watched them crawl around it or get their ass wet picking up beer cans. So they did.
Well, every time I was down there, you would see a head going around. There was water moccasins.
There's snakes all over that.
They really liked it there because they could get up underneath that old concrete that was there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, Randy, you remember Buck Smith?
Yeah.
Crazy son of a bitch.
Oh,
He got
man.
a big chain shot him with a gut one time. I don't know. They called me down to the Vine Bridge down there one night. There was a bunch of them. There must have been 100 people that Vine Bridge. County didn't have anybody, so I went down there and I pulled up there. Buck Smith, and David Lewis, and all them. Those are people you probably remember.
I thought you was going to say that I ran with, but
No, I didn't say that. I mean, they were related,
Yes,
to me, but I don't know. But
I do.
Buck Smith was there. There was a car parked in the middle of the road, middle of the bridge, blocking the bridge. People backed up behind it who lived down there. That they're not. They told us they ain't moving the car. I said okay. So I walked up there and I said, "Whose car?" And nobody said anything. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna have a record. I'll call it up right now and have them come and get it." Once I call and that record starts his way, nobody moves his car. I'm gonna stay here with it. Well, here, Lewis looked at him and he goes, "That's Buck Smith's." I said, "It is." So I walked over and I said, "Buck, this is your car?" "Maybe." I said, "Well, I'm going to tow it." He said, "You ain't towing my car." I said, "Yeah, I am. He'll be here in a few minutes." He said, "You ain't listening to me." I said, "Yeah, I am." He swings at me while I'm standing on the bridge. And it was one of them old haymaker swings, that you could see coming. I mean, I could have ate a sandwich by the time I got one of these. And it didn't help that he had Mad Dog 2020 and something. It come around like this. So I just took and hit him in the chest, and he went off that low water bridge into that.
Upstream or downstream?
Upstream. Yeah. So he's flopping like a wounded duck out there in the middle of this water. He goes, "I'm drowning."
It's only about that deep.
They almost told him, he said, "Stand up, you son." He goes, "It's only waist deep." He's doing this. He goes, "Okay."
Lucky didn't get washed down there under that bridge. There's been several get hung up in there.
I told him to have guard. He said, you assaulted me.
Oh, yeah.
That's good times.
Those were the old days. You go down there, the grotto was the same way.
Oh,
You go
yeah.
down there, the grotto. You'd have to deal with them. And But yeah, there was not a lot of places for them to go, you know. Probably went to the corner bar there in Newburgh. And if you're old enough to put the money on the counter, they just serve it to you.
Yeah. I guess they're closed down during this. I don't know.
Well, hell, they never had more than 2 people in there at one time anyway.
Yeah, they could have social distanced pretty easy.
Oh, easily. You know, that's what Paisley did one day. There was a fight at the corner bar down there. So me and Paisley says he jumped the car and went down there. So I jumped in the car, which I hated riding him because he had a spit cut set up on his dash. And it wasn't secured. So you'd be driving, you'd be go around a corner, you'd watch that cut do this. Oh, shit. You know, so you sat there. So we get down there. Tom walks in the front door of this thing, and he can't see. It was so damn dark. So we walk in there, and he looking around and said, all right, who's been fighting down here? Nobody, Tom, I ain't seen nobody fighting. He said, I can't hear you. He said, turn that damn jukebox off. Somebody got to be putting money in it. Tom walked over and grabbed that jukebox and slammed it around, pulled the cord plumb out of that thing. He said, the bar's closed, boys, everybody leave. And they left. And I'm going, oh, this is fantastic. And they left. Said the bar's closed.
Tom, that was Tom's style. He didn't take any guff. I mean, and they all knew it. That was his style. That was his. You couldn't get away with it today, but back then, he made it work.
I hate to try to get away with that.
Yeah.
Should I just see it every time I turn around?
All right, you guys get a chance to look at this letter from Charity?
Mm-hmm.
CFE, CGAP, what's it? Low reimbursement rate. Oh,
What effect would it have if the county's budget, if the program was eliminated?
What's going on here?
Well, first
you
of
mean
all,
they
you
quit
know what?
reimbursing per diem altogether? I mean, they're
Well,
already,
so they owe us $300,000.
yeah.
And first of all, that's money that we paid out. I mean, that's room and board and
Mhm.
housing and medical and everything else that we paid, which we have to fund through our budget, and they'll get reimbursed.
To take
for
care of,
to take care of their prisoners.
That's what I can't get my arms around what's going on here.
Well, they're trying to get, they're trying to, and why they're asking this question, because I know why they're sending it to commissioners, because they've already dealt with the sheriffs over it, and they've already all went up there to the Capitol and met with the governor and said, this is bullshit.
Okay.
You know, there's 30 some odd million dollars owed to the counties of 114 counties. He said, you're asking us in a lot of positions, county commissioners, to pay or give monies to pay for housing prisoners over there, you know, and not be reimbursed for them. You know, and every year I have to budget how much is going to cost me for meals, how much is going to cost me, you know, and you're looking at insurance, you're looking at nursing, you're looking at, you know, salaries of employees, you know, and which comes out of our budget, and they don't want to pay it.
Do you have a number, how many state prisoners,
It's not too real hard.
and how much reimbursement that we're supposed to get?
I know exactly.
And how much,
The state knows it.
and how, and do we know how much it costs to house a prisoner?
And the average cost of housing a prisoner is probably between $30,000 and $40,000 is what it is.
Annual.
There's no $30 to $40 a day.
Oh, okay, $30 and $40
We
per
get
day.
$20.
So we're already running.
It's 50, I think it's 2058.
20 something.
So we're already
already in
hemorrhaging
the
red ink on housing them.
But here's the thing. These are state prisoners. These are not county prisoners.
Right.
They're states.
I don't know how some of these smaller counties would even operate a jail.
Well, they
if
can't.
took
I've
that
got
away from
counties
them.
right now that can't even buy a car. You know, in the old days that I remember, you know, I mean, those cars are up to 300,000 miles on them. You know, they just can't even afford to buy them.
We hear that at county commissioners meetings, and then
Well,
we always.
Randy's been, I don't know, but it was like years ago when the only thing we had to buy a car from was civil process.
Yeah.
I got in on the tail end of that.
Yeah.
How tough that was.
Well, remember when I took here, the budget was, you know, you all, Carol told me I had to borrow money to pay for it, because we didn't have it.
We didn't have it.
We had 9 feds.
So you're saying it's between $30 and $40 a day to house?
I mean, it actually is broke down. The Sheriff's Association broke it down, Randy, Gary, and they took it up to the governors. All of them broke it down at a reasonable rate of what it cost based on the salaries, the per diems, and the medical, and blah, 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 and on and on and on.
So $35 would be maybe
Would be not out of the question.
I guess,
And it's,
and
and
we'll
most of your,
reimburse
most of your,
about
most
25.
of your counties are now charging $45 to $50 to hold it outside prison. So I'm thinking the rate is going up. So if you said it was $40, wouldn't be out of the question.
But we get 25.
We don't get 25. We get
$20.58.
something.
Oh, 20, okay.
They jostle that every year. They fight over it.
Yeah, I remember that. I just couldn't remember the exact number.
But I mean, how do you expect somebody else to pay the bills when you got the state of Missouri don't even pay their own damn bills?
But even if they paid it, they're only paying 50% of the cost to house a prisoner, thereabouts.
They're paying the full cost of what it, so they're gonna tell you, right now, they're only gonna pay you $20. That's the state's reimbursement.
Right, so they're only paying 50%
Yeah,
of what,
just 50% of what's owed to us.
what it costs to have a prisoner.
Every time we give a pay increase or raise those jailers' salaries or whatever, it goes towards, that's what costs me per prisoner over there. The only one that helps me out, the only keeps our head above water is in federal
It's a
inmates.
federal, and what do they give?
They give me $65 a day. I took it from $54 when I came to 65.
So in reality, the federal government is subsidizing our prisoners.
Sure. We're not going in the hole because of it.
And we're one of the fortunate counties.
Because many counties
Because you
don't
keep
have
a
that.
jail that qualifies as a federal facility.
A lot of
Most
these guys
counties
are
don't have it.
building these jails right now, like Dip and like Feist. They're thinking they're gonna get federal inmates. Well, they're not gonna get federal inmates. Texas County, when they built that new justice center, Department of Justice said, no, we're not taking them down there. They're gonna be on the interstate. We'll take them on 70, we'll take them on 44, but they're trying to concentrate everything from between Springfield or St. Louis and Springfield. Now I've taken over Jeff City's. Callaway County had them, and the marshals asked us to take their prisoners.
And they're right there on 70.
They're right between us. It's about the same distance between Jeff City and 70 and us and there, but
So how many federal prisoners do you have?
right now it's 80.
Because that's about average too.
That's all I want right now.
And state prisoners, about what does that average?
Well, out of 200 inmates, so if you had 80 of them that were federal, so the rest of them are 120 state.
Well, no, some of those are ours, aren't they?
But I'm talking about state charges.
Okay,
Not federal charges.
does even,
Some of the feds are ours.
well, but if somebody is arrested here in Phelps County for is it always a state charge?
Unless city arrests them, but we don't hold them. We don't
Okay,
on state
you only
charges.
hold them for,
State charges.
oh, okay. But overnight, the city may put somebody in,
They may put them in there on what's called a 12-hour hold.
so they are paid,
If they leave them there over 24 hours,
and they pay.
then they have to pay. That's why you'll see the city attorney and judge come over there and get them out as quick as they can. The city don't want to pay.
But anybody that's arrested here in Phelps County probably is a state.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't
I mean,
have the
that-
county
that's-
ordinances.
Well, that's, yeah.
I mean,
we got
the
that.
only person that has a city ordinances that they can arrest on is St. James and Rolla have it. I can't arrest them. It's the highway patrol can't arrest them.
Okay, so I'm just trying to do some numbers here.
But we need to compose a response to charity for.
And we can about give, I'm trying to figure out if we can provide her with some kind of numbers, with how much it costs. And the very fact that our federal prisoners are subsidized in the jail and getting it to run into black. Otherwise,
Talk about that over there.
Well, first of all, let's just take the questions and break them down while you're here.
Okay.
Okay, so the effects of low reimbursement rate had on what's the effects of it on the county budget? Well, first of all, we have to budget it no matter if we're getting income from them or not. So we're always in the hole each and every budget is because we budget in our account to cover this. But, you know, we're constantly losing money every year, and we have to budget in the county budget or through us, right? So we're losing money. But we still have to put it in our budget to be able to pay for it. I mean, we still have to come up with the money somewhere to pay for it. So that's a no-brainer. You know?
So if you have 120 state prisoners, thereabouts,
They're not all being paid by the state, Gary. Only when they've been convicted for a crime that's gonna send them to the state penitentiary or put them under the control of the
so
state.
when they're just down here waiting
Then
for
I
trial,
absorb it and I try to reimburse it through the court system to get reimbursed, which typically don't happen. You have a lot of variables here, Gary.
Well, that's a fair statement.
So you have to look at the totality of it. But number two is the effects and delay in reimbursement. It's not, first of all, our debt hasn't gone away. And because they delay reimbursement, doesn't stop us from continuously going in the hole. So the reimbursement just prolongs us from trying to break even on what we have.
Tell me if this is a fair statement. The fact that they're not paying on a timely basis, or they owe us $300,000, potentially could keep us from hiring enough jailers to open the new jail.
First of all, I would have to be asking you if there wasn't ways that I've gotten money, generated money down there. I'd be up here asking you, I couldn't afford jailers like that. I would have to cut jailers back to like a lot of the counties around us where they run 2 people.
All of which translates to lesser services for the rest of the county.
And two is, when you're running that many prisoners down there, you try to run that on a skeleton shift. You wait till you have 30 people riding in a pod. Or the way we are, we have a lot of minimals that we can't get rid of. We have to deal with them until they can find a place to go. Those people are violent. They're not what you're used to. You put them in an isolation area because you got to contain them. You can't put them in population. They're urinating, they're feces, it's unfortunate we just don't have a place to go.
All right.
Right now, our mental health system is just junk.
Your pocket's ringing.
no, he's telling me something's happening.
Do we
Good
have
morning,
enough
Brother
information
Dave.
out of that conversation to glean responses, you think?
I think so. She's with the state auditor's office. I just can't fathom what they're up to. The questions are so obvious.
Here's another the question 3. What effect would it have on the county budget if the program is eliminated? First of all, I have no way of recouping any money. If it's eliminated, I'm not gonna be getting it anyway.
We'll be laying off.
We
jailers.
still have to budget for it.
What happens if we decline state prisoners?
Uh-huh.
What if we just don't take state prisoners? Have they
How
tried
do you
that?
do that, Randy? When you bring them up here in court, the judge sends them to DOC, the Department of Justice. What do you do?
That's not an option, but I think it's been tried. I think somebody took some prisoners up to the state capitol several years ago and handcuffed them to the railing
Did they?
and protest.
Quite a show, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you, we have a balanced budget requirement in the state of Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Can you claim that your budget is balanced if you have a $30 million accounts payable?
Well, first of all, it doesn't make any difference. We have to find the money somewhere.
Yeah.
Guys, by the end of the year, we have to borrow money.
Yep, that's long and short of it, which cuts into other services. Okay, we will set Charity straight.
I think that these 3 questions are pretty stupid. You can put them out. be honest with you.
Well, it's like I think you said before, they've already posed these to the Sheriff's Association and got nowhere, so now they're on a fishing expedition.
Now they're on a fishing, because I can tell you, there was like 60 or 70 sheriffs up there at the governor's mansion and at the Capitol over this. And he told them then, I will release some of that money this year. Well, now you got this.
Yeah.
Now they're saying they're what, $700 million in the hole right now?
So where's your prison money gonna
I
come
don't
from?
think you're gonna see prison money coming down tubes.
No, I don't. Which, you know, because of your financial responsibility, it's probably not gonna hurt us nearly as much as it's gonna hurt some.
You know, you take the totality of it, you know, but it irritates me that I have to pay for somebody who's been committed to the State Department and DOC. And that this county has to pay for it. Doesn't make sense to me, do you?
All right.
You make these counties pay for it, and the county's budget is tight. Now you're gonna see people out on the streets that maybe shouldn't be there because the county can't afford to feed them.
Well, I'll tell you something else. If the judge says you ain't gonna release it, you ain't gonna be released.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if they send him to jail, he's in jail.
Yeah.
You know what the state wants to do? They want to turn all your Class E's and Class D felons back to the cabin and make them hustle. So if you're convicted of it, instead of going to prison for 120s or 2 years or 3 years, now they want to say, you convict them, you keep them. We're not taking it. That's coming.
We need to keep Senator Brown's ear.
Hmm?
We need to keep Senator Brown's ear close to us.
Yeah. And guys, we sent a bunch of them up
No. Okay.
there. Think about it.
That would be pretty rough.
I only have one.
The Raleigh School Board race and Raleigh issue if you're out in county in the Raleigh School District.
What is the Raleigh
Because you
issue?
wouldn't have a city. This is for June.
Yeah.
This would have been the April election.
One of the reasons we were trying to avoid use tax for April.
That's right.
I can look you up in NCR and make sure that's the ballot you should get. But by your description, you would not. Like no Raleigh School District.
That's my
I
bad.
mean, call Cherry.
That's your ballot.
Okay.
She called me. I missed this. That's April 13th. She knows that. She called me, wanted to know why I didn't respond. Well, she was nice about it.
You know, did request an
Stupid questions.
They really are. I mean, the
Generate
answers
the
are so obvious.
sign.
It's up in the paper, it's worse.
Yeah.
I know that's what you want.
Let's take a break.
Yes, more
for our
reading.
internet
We all
watchers.
need to be more reading. More reading.
I don't know what you guys want me to do. I mean,
I'll respond to it. Great. I'll take care of
it's really kind of ridiculous.
it. Seems so.
I think they're just trying to put you guys in the middle of it too. Don't you?
Sure.
Would any new good with sheriffs? They'll try to. They're not going to do this. So,
I am gonna have to give some relief.
yeah, I am too, Gary. Let's go in recess here for about 5 minutes. What do you
All
think?
right, now, that's good.
The range, I called Department of Justice. They said we're not putting in ranges.
Oops.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She said, first of all, we got into too many issues with funding out of federal asset forfeiture funds. They got sued because of location they put on. DNR got involved because of, water problems, waste problems. They, just a lot of different issues. And she's saying, you can use other funds, but that particular fund right now is, if you're asking for permission, it's probably not going to happen. And I said, well, there's no way I can do it. But I said, I've got to go some direction. So what I'm looking at, I went through DNR and EPA and all of them when I bought the incentive, got all my permits, got everything approved for it. But for me to be able to burn evidence, I have to have a designated place. So, and now we're going to be out of a range. So I'm trying to find an isolated place, either surrounded by government land or just a bluff out there nobody wants, that I can put a range in. And I just have to come up with the funding other than asset forfeiture. But asset forfeiture said that that was a hot potato for them.
I can actually see that.
Because they said they got into a heading budget contest with EPA and DNR. Sure. And I don't mind DNR them because I deal with them every year now. And they come in and do inspections for me on my incinerator and stuff. So I don't have any issues with it. But I can't get Department of Justice to commit to that, so. So I'll figure something out and we'll go from there, all right?
Sounds good, sir.
Okay. See you
Thanks.
guys.